what I want to do now is, in order to help accent the setting that we established just prior, when we took an examination of the island and the island nations that are presented in the Sword Coast Adventures Guide, I want to create a couple crew members using the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide as a way to support the idea for a style of campaign that I want to try and pitch to you. Not just as content for the channel, but something that you can do at home, especially if you have a group of friends, and maybe you want to rotate, DM, or maybe you want to rotate characters, but still have a cohesive story. And this will be a way to do that. In order to reflect the fact that, you know, sailors come from a variety of backgrounds. Sailors come from, you know, all sorts of walks of life. What I want to do is create crew members. I think I'm going to go for 4 because I remember that there's a halfling option in this book as well. So we're going to end up creating 4 crew members. We made the officers last week, who are going to be outside the norm, right? They're not going to be a normal. They're not going to be a normal human. In fact, we're not even going to make a human. Human is off the table. In the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide, there is an alternative tiefling, an alternative gnome with a Sverfneblin. We are going to make an alternative halfling, the Ghostwise halfling, and we're going to make an alternative dwarf, the Duergar. And I want that to reflect the fact that, look, a crew can come from all walks of life and be represented. And it also mix things up, too, because we haven't really made SCAG-style characters. So it'll be a nice 2-for-1 for what we do here on the channel. What's nice, also, about this approach, because we already know about the officers and we know about the ship, we can help weave into their story. Why did they decide to sign up and be a crew member aboard the Ironclad frigate, which is what we decided the warship to be. Duergar Carl's Night Watch, he'd be a good one to do that, huh? All right. So, couple things first. Here's our handy-dandy random character generator. Let's roll percentile to find out if we have a male or a female character. Five. We have a female. Female Duergar. Hey, Cap. Speaking of captains, Captain Milne's with us. The best DM boy on Twitch, Matty Morgs. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for that shout out, Cap. I hope you've been having fun over on your channel. You're playing Civilization, weren't you? Which people did you end up playing? All right. Her alignment is 190. We rolled a 100 and a 96. She is chaotic evil. This is going to be interesting. The Brazilians, I like to do random leaders. Oh, yeah, so good. You mix it up. You don't fall into... We're having this conversation before. Every one of us as role players seemingly knows someone who will just always play an elf and no one else. And, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, in StarCraft, oh, well, you always play Terrans, and I know what you're going to do. We won world domination with the Brazilians, Vikings, and Romans. Who were, so at the end, who were the opposing civilizations that, you know, who was left to conquer? Now, because we rolled evil, She could be a death cleric or an oathbreaker paladin. And of course, we'll see which class options are available in the SCAG as well, depending on what she's going to roll there. The level at which we are going to generate her is... We rolled a 22. That is going to be level 7. Indonesia and 2 ancient ones. Was the Indonesia... Is the Indonesia in this? So this is going back to Silk Road and such. I had actually had a vampire character, not a Malkavian, why am I derping on the name? They do illusions. I'm derping on it. Ravnos. I had a Ravnos who lived in Southeast Asia during the time of the Muslim pilgrims that were coming over, and they were converting the natives from their own native religions into Islam. And that's about the time that he turned, was during the time of the Silk Road and whatnot. And so when you say Indonesia, I think, you know, so whereabouts was this a post-Islam Indonesia, or is this ancient and they still have their own kind of like nature animistic? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Derek. He was a fun vampire to play too. Quite a shrewd merchant. He named himself the Penangolin. Of course, no one ever called him that. All right, let's roll and see if she's going to take any feats. With a 71, nope, we're going to go just for stat bumps. It was ancient as heck, got it. Are we talking like Phoenicians? Are we you know, like ancient Greece? Are we talking the Maccabeans? It was that ancient Israeli tribe. Which, happy belated Hanukkah to any of you out there. Now for her background. I want to go over to the SCAG. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 different backgrounds. I'm going to roll a d12, and we're going to find out which Sword Coast Adventures Guide background she has. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, a Courtier. A Courtier. Let's see. There's... nothing in particular for... There's nothing in particular for, like there's a why are you here for a far traveler. So we're going to go the standard 2d8. 4 and 5 for personality traits. By the way, that works a little bit differently in this book, and I'll show that off here. 6, 2, and 2 for flaws. You hoping the package gets here before you leave next Thursday? I am 2 hours north of Columbus, Cap. Oh, Javanese even. Okay, in the 1300s. All right. That would have been about that time, if I'm recalling correctly. Random Twitch streamer doesn't know Southeast Asian history. All right, next up, we are going to decide our class with a D12. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A druid. Ooh, do druids get anything special in SCAG? Nothing in particular. So I might want to roll again. That way we're featuring something that's a little off, a little bit different. Something special out of this book. Yeah, I'm going to reroll. We're doing something a little bit special. Otherwise, I'd leave it where it lies. 6. Monks. Aha! A Sun Soul monk, despite her being a Duergar. Duergar and the Sun don't usually get along. Kind of like with the Drow. So she's clearly part of a cult. Actually, we get a couple, I think we get a couple options here. So let's see, we have Sun Souls, Followers of the Way of the Long Death. Okay, so we're going to go odds. Odds or evens? Odds is the Long Death. Evens is the Sun Soul. Odds. She's the Way of the Long Death. Okay. And then lastly, because we do have a Duergar, they might have slightly different stats. Hang on. Grey Dwarves. Physically similar to other dwarves in some ways, Duergar are wiry and lean with black eyes and bald heads. With males growing long, unkempt gray beards, Duergar value toil above all else. So they're a little leaner. I guess we'll run it as a hill dwarf then. So we'll come back to this. Hill dwarves start at 3.8. Oh, no, hang on. I guess it'd be... We'll go with the base height of a mountain dwarf, but I guess we'll go with the weight mod of a hill. Start at 4 feet and give him 2d4 extra inches. 7, so 4'7". . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 . 4 And then we're going to take that same 7 and multiply it by 2d6 by 5. So we're adding 35 pounds to the hill dwarf base weight. So 150 pounds. And her age, we rolled 54. That makes her an adult. That's column 3, which for a dwarf, we come over between 100 and 150. Let's roll a 50-sided die. 17. She's 117 years old. Not even half as old as the ship, and it's a dwarven ship. And that could have something to do with why she came aboard. All right, we don't need this anymore. In your earlier days, you were a personage of some significance in a noble court or a bureaucratic organization. You might or might not come from an upper-class family. Your talents, rather than your circumstances of your birth, could have secured you this position. You might have been one of the many functionaries, attendants, and other hangers-on in the court of Silvery Moon, or perhaps you traveled in Waterdeep's baroque and sometimes cutthroat conglomeration of guilds, nobles, adventurers, and secret societies. You might have been one of the behind-the-scenes law keepers, or functionaries in Baldur's Gate or Neverwinter, or you might have grown up in and around the castle of Daggerford. Even if you no longer are a full-fledged member of the group that gave you start in life, your relationships with your former fellows can be an advantage for you during your adventuring comrades. You might undertake missions with your new companions that further the interests of the organization that gave you your start in life. In any event, the abilities that you honed while serving as a courtier will stand you in good stead as an adventurer. The suggested characteristics. Use the tables for guild artisan background in the player's handbook as the basis for your traits and motivations, modifying the entries when appropriate to suit your identity as a courtier. The noble court or bureaucratic organization where you got your start is directly or indirectly associated with your bond, which could pertain to certain individuals in the group, such as your sponsor or mentor. Your ideal might be concerned with the prevailing philosophy of your court or an organization. All right. So, first things first. We are going to receive skill proficiencies in insight and persuasion. And there we go. We'll get 2 languages of our choice. So, as a Duergar, I'm going to have to look it up. We probably get common in either Dwarven or Deep Speech. I'll just put that as a signifier. And then we're going to get 2 others from our days of being an intermediary in various courts and societies. We will receive a set of fine clothes and a belt pouch containing 5 gold. Feature, Court Functionary. Your knowledge of how bureaucracies function lets you gain access to the records and inner workings of any noble court or government you encounter. You know who the movers and shakers are, whom to go to for the favors you seek, and what the current intrigues of interest in the group are. And you're chaotic evil, meaning you can disrupt those same channels. All right, now let's go to chapter 4. I hope you brought your books. D&Ms, are you out there? It's undercommon. Okay. Did I say deep speech? Guild Artisan is the recommendation. Our personality traits are 4 and 5. I'm full of witty aphorisms and have a proverb for every occasion. And number 5, I'm rude to people who lack my commitment to hard work and fair play. This sounds like our cartographer, our quartermaster cartographer. No, our surgeon. They probably get along. Basis for traits and motivations, modifying Noble Court's bureaucratic organization. Okay. Our ideal is number 6. Aspiration. I work hard to be the best there is at my craft. In this case, I work hard to be... maybe my craft could be appropriate. As a courtier, she probably does see herself as, well, and given her personality expression, she's probably a bit of a disruptor. You know, she'll snoop. She's not exactly a spy. We'll just say she keeps the plates spinning. That might be a good way of describing what she does. Very good with rumors. Bonds number 2. I created a great work for someone and then found them unworthy to receive it. I'm still looking for someone worthy. A great work in this case is probably her services as a spin doctor, as maybe some sort of like damage control agent, as a someone who can get information, probably by exploiting various vices of whomever is the opposing force. So it seems like her bond, she's looking for a worthy cause. Whoever was employing her last didn't appreciate her, and now here's an opportunity for her. Hey, Nadpoo, welcome. Her flaw is number 2. I'm quick to assume that someone is trying to cheat me. It's probably how she survived this court intrigue for so long. Hey, Curse Warrior. I heard that a Ravnica story was being told here, so I wanted to check it out. Sorry, I just noticed your comment there. We did Ravnica. We were focusing on Ravnica a couple weeks ago, and we made a follow-up campaign to the first Ravnica adventure that we made in the channel. And so we made some characters using the guide, and we plotted out an entire campaign. Now, we can talk about Ravnica. In fact, if you have any questions or otherwise, Curse Warrior, this is an open workshop. So you can ask questions, you can hang out and come along for the ride. So the theme this week we're working on is making a ship and crew and taking them out into an episodic style campaign. Though, if you want to check out what we've done for Ravnica, I will invite you. If you followed, then thank you. Otherwise, if you wanted to pop into our Discord, you can find here where it says past content. If you click on that, this has the material that we go over in our workshop, including, so if you want to see a specific character being made, if you want to talk about a rule set being explored. So the prior week was campaign 31 we named, or in the game of the law. And of course, this is a follow-up for Lone Survivor, LOAN, because it was an Orzhov themed, it was an Orzhov themed adventure. And you can see our character creation for it. You can see us getting into the supplement and talking about this or that. We created villains in Ravnica. We created NPCs. And then we tied it all together after exploring the setting of District 10 into this Ravnica adventure called In the Game of the Law, which is going to be more about an Azorius-Golgari interaction. Well, primarily Golgari. Heavily supported by the Azorius. Okay. Heading back. We have the aspects of her background fixed into place. So now I want to go over to her race. We're going to bring this up, go over to her subrace, and now as a dwarf, as basic dwarf traits, Duergar is a subrace. Our constitution score increases by 2, so let's float that number over here. Age alignment we already have. Size, we are technically a medium creature. Our speed, 20, not 35. We wish. It'll go up as a monk. 25, 12, 12, 0. We do have dark vision. Dwarves have dark vision out to 60 feet. Of being a Duergar is going to change that, but we're going to take things one step at a time. Dwarven resilience. We have advantage on saving throws against poison, and we have resistance against poison damage. So up here, I'll zoom in and show you. On this character sheet, see IRV for immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities. Or resistant to poison. Advantages versus poison. Kerr says, okay, it's really cool, though, about the ships, and was thinking, are there any characters that was a part of an old ship and people called him cursed? The ship that we made, we created an entire story. The ship is 281 years old, of Dwarven design. We manufactured it. Though I don't think that the ship itself is cursed. Oh, hey, GC, it's been a while. Welcome. The captain, however, as we manufacture the captain as an NPC, the captain has regrets and is rather haunted. And so if you like that kind of tragic character or tragic storytelling, you may be able to relate to the captain that we generated, Cursed Warrior. Nadpoo says, Maddie, do you feel that some of the names for the status effects should be renamed? Specifically incapacitated. It's a little misleading in my opinion, or should players and DMs just learn to associate the names to the rules rather than their immediate understanding? It should be intuitive. Incapacitated, though, could mean... it could mean different things to different people, depending. I like keeping dictionary.com open. Unable to act, respond, or the like, often used euphemistically when one is busy or otherwise occupied. So, if you're referring to why is there a difference between unconscious and incapacitated, well, to deprive of ability, qualification, or strength, make incapable or unfit, to disable. And so, you know, we're seeing how would you want to apply it? Which definition are we using? Whoop. They can't take actions or reactions. Yeah. I just don't understand if something is incapacitated. How can make a dex saving throw to get out of damage of an AoE spell? Well, remember that making a save against a spell like that doesn't mean that you are getting out of that area of effect. It is, you know, because you don't move. Like, if a fireball's centered on you, you don't get to move to the outside of the fireball as part of your reaction. And so your reaction is sort of a catch-all term for ways that you might be able to mitigate the damage that's coming in. It could be you sort of like swishing a cape around, or, you know, holding... I know there's a feat specifically for shields and doing this, but it could be you like raising your shield up in front of your face, or just like looking away, something along those lines. That could be a save. It could just be a representation of luck. You know, have you been saved by an external force? And so when the fireball went off, you just got lucky in that regard. So you have to bear in mind, it's like hit points. Hit points don't mean that you're taking injury every time that you're hit, or that your AC is met or exceeded. Hit points can be mental exhaustion, emotional exhaustion. Hit points can just be a diminishment of your luck until that one strike that would normally disable you as a person and make you fall and start bleeding out. Yeah, so it consider luck in a sense, fortune, right? That's what we as players rolling dice are doing. We are these gods overlooking these characters, and we're playing with them, and we're having these forces upon them. So you can consider catch-all terms like hit points or saves, even the roll to hit, as also being an aspect of luck. Is your center balance and how well you keep it? Someone who fails a dex save is knocked off center. Yeah, it could have been something like that. There's a lot of ways it can be explained through fluff. Mechanically, it is what it is, and it has to be that way. But in fluff, use it as an open-ended concept. Okay. If you have any other questions, Nadpoo or Curse Warrior, if you're here and there's something you have a question on or content you're wondering about, let me know. You are always welcome to talk over here. This stream is for this and for you all primarily. Dark Vision, Dwarven Resilience, Dwarven Combat Training. Now this could come in handy. Because as a monk, we don't get training in a couple of these weapons. Battle axe, hand axe, throwing hammer, or light hammer, and a war hammer. As a monk, we're going to get simple weapons and a short sword. So I will just put down battle axe and war hammer. And for monk, simple weapons and short sword. We're going a little bit ahead. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell Matt I said that. Tool proficiencies. You gain proficiency with the artisan's tools of your choice, smiths, brewers, or masons. Now, always talk to your DM. Your DM might say, well, if you're a courtesan, maybe you want to take a disguise kit proficiency. Right? Not all dwarves toil in the mines. Though if we're going for something that would be standard issue like PHB, maybe the brewer supplies. She understands drinks and drinking etiquette. That could be a part of being a courtier. We are also going to get stone cutting. Normally it would be common in Dwarvish. However, for the Duergar, now let's zoom back out. I don't know why the PDF derps out like that. Strength goes up by 1. Superior Dark Vision is 120. Extra language. So we'll get Common, Dwarven, and Undercommon. Or Dwarvish if you prefer. And then our 2 from our background. Duergar Resilience. We have advantages on saving throws against illusions and against being charmed or paralyzed. Alright. Poison. Charmed. Paralyzed. Illusions. Oh yeah. The from Crystal Cast, correct? And yeah, they'll make it out of fossils and ivory and dinosaur poop. Oh, Daly got in on that. Duergar Magic. When you reach 3rd level, you can cast the Enlarge Reduce spell on yourself once with this trait, using only the spell's Enlarge option. Alright, so racial. we are going to get... actually, that'll be... Well, let's put it here. Duergar magic. Large reduce. Once per day. And we're 7th level, so we've hit the 5th level. You can cast invisibility spell. You don't need material components for either spell, and you can't cast them while you're in direct sunlight. Although sunlight has no effect on them once cast. You regain the ability to cast these spells with this trait once you finish a long rest. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for these modifiers. We're going to just indicate that of the spell, we're just going to enlarge. And invisibility. And we do have sunlight sensitivity. You have disadvantages on attack rolls and wisdom perception checks that rely on sight when you, the target of your attack or whatever you're trying to perceive, is in direct sunlight. That'll be tough to read, won't it, Daly? All right, so congratulations. We are a Duergar dwarf. A dark dwarf, a gray dwarf, however you'd like to call it. Oh, hey, Slaso. Good morning. Yeah, welcome. It's great to see you again. Shymek 58. Oh, who's this rando just joining us, huh? Thank you for the follow, by the way. Yeah, I don't know, but hey, thank you. Hype, right? Hype, hype, hype. Poor Flump was in here earlier, Shymek, and all he wants is a clay golem, and he ended up cracking open another iron golem. The memes are real, my friend. You thought the memes in your question section earlier were real. Alrighty, now let's go to classes. Not druid, we rolled into a monk. And we are going to keep... Whoop, there we go. She's going to be Way of the Long Death. However, we need to make sure that we are giving her the basic functionality of a monk here. We're rolling her at level 7. So this is what we're going to worry about. At level 7, we have a +3 proficiency. And our martial arts are going to be D6s. We are going to have 7 key points, and on this sheet, key points are, and lay on hands and whatnot can go down here. Very handy to have. Unarmored movement, extra 15 feet, excellent. So that is going to put us at 40, giving us 20 climb, 20 swim, and 0 fly. We are a D8 hit die class, and we're level 7. We have 7 D8s to use to regain hit points in between, well, just during rests, you know, whether it's between fights or parts of a dungeon or whatnot. No armor proficiencies, simple weapons, short swords. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. We already have that. Choose one type of artisan tools or one musical instrument. Well, knowing brewing supplies, Would have come in handy for her days as a courtier. An instrument, I think, could help as well. Something... What would be something here that... What would be a good Duergar instrument? Maybe a little hand drum? Maybe some little castanets? A Duergar with castanets kind of sounds cool. Let's give her an instrument, unless you think it should be something otherwise. Not hard to read at all. Oh, I see how. Okay, they. All right, because it's raised. Got it. Saving throws, strength and dex. And skills, choose 2 from acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. Well, given the way she expresses herself, right? Her personality is expressed through chaotic evil, so selfish, impulsive nature. She was more of the rumor monger, more of maybe I get dirt on people. I think having stealth would make sense for her. And probably history. I don't know. Let's see what her personality says again. I'm full of witty aphorisms, have a proverb for every occasion. History, I think, yeah. That's why history is tickling my noggin. I'm rude to people, lack my commitment to hard work, fair play. Aspiration. I created a craft, a great work for someone. I found it unworthy to receive it, and I'm quick to assume someone's trying to cheat me. History, I think, based on her personality. Alright, so we'll start with a short sword or any simple weapon. That's fine. We can give her a short sword. Dungeoneer's pack or Explorer's pack. And 10 darts. Whoops, dart in your neck. Pneumonica, is the stream blinky again? On my end, I'm not showing any dropped frames, and I'm not showing that my stream has ended prematurely. So I don't know what to tell you, Pneumonica. Is Twitch angry? Is it my connection? Well, it's cutting out for you all too. It must be Twitch, as I'm not showing dropped frames or the like. Just in case this isn't getting across because there's stuttering. Although, for me, when I was watching your broadcast earlier, Shymek, it would have to buffer every now and again. So it might be Twitch tonight is having some problems somewhere in their infrastructure. Alright, so we get our martial arts. It might be a rough night. We are going to get key, and we're going to be able to do ultimately four things with it. Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind. Whoa. On our movement, we already have accounted for that. We're going to take our monastic tradition after we apply our what all monks get abilities. One of that is going to be to deflect missiles. So catch and turn it right back around. We're also going to be getting slow fall. Extra attack. If any of you out there need me to stop and explain these abilities, let me know. I mean, I try and include a blurb of some kind, but if you need me to get in depth, shout it out. Stunning Strike is our next key option. That's why I keep one open up there. Key Empowered Strike, which is really just going to mean that this counts as magical if we punch or kick, like we're attacking with ourselves. And at level 7, which is the level at which we're generating her, we get Evasion. At 7th level, your instinctive agility lets you dodge out of the way of certain area effects, such as a blue dragon's lightning breath or a fireball spell. When you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw and only half if you fail. You have the stream now? Okay. It's just as Shymek said, it might be just a rough night for Twitch, Pneumonica. But thank you all for sticking through it. Oh, I'm sorry, at 7th level, we also get one more thing, Jackie. Stillness of Mind. You can use your action to end one effect on yourself that's causing you to be charmed or frightened. Now, let's pop over to the Sword Coast Guide, and we roll that she is going to be taking Way of the Long Death. Monks of the Way of the Long Death are obsessed with the meaning and mechanics of dying. They capture creatures and prepare elaborate experiments to capture, record, and understand the moments of their demise. They then use this knowledge to guide their understanding of martial arts, yielding a deadly fighting style. When you choose this tradition at 3rd level, your study of death allows you to extract vitality from another creature as it nears its demise. When you reduce a creature within 5 feet of you to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your wisdom modifier plus your monk level. Alright, so Touch of Death. Interesting. So again, I'm not sure anything dropped, but we did just get this signal in our chat saying that I'm now live, even though I have not ceased. I've not stopped being live. Hour of Reaping. At 6th level, you gain the ability to unsettle or terrify those around you as an action, for your soul has been touched by the shadow of death. When you take this action, each creature within 30 feet of you that can see you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Ooh, that Mastery of Death is really nice as well. Spend a key to not die? Well. Alright, so Hour of Reaping. There we go. So now we have the basics of our character. We need to drop the ability scores in, and let's gen her up and get things going here. We have our standard array of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. Wisdom and dexterity are going to be very important for this character. Not that you can't make attacks off of strength, but you just can make them off of dexterity, which for a monk also doubles as your defense, because dexterity and wisdom are going to add up to be an unarmored defense for you. As you're using reflexes, you're looking around, you're trying to be aware of what's going on around you. We could probably then drop our 15 in Dex, 14 in Wisdom. Let's see, if she was a Courtier, 13 Charisma. You know, I'm held up between... I don't mind going Strength. I mean, that is a saving throw of ours. It could be decent. But for that, especially if she can drink poison, maybe having a higher Constitution would be interesting. But then again, her knowledge of history and being able to talk at least a little bit about a wide variety of topics. Created great work. Quick to assume someone's trying to cheat me. I work hard to be the best at my craft. I think int 10 and then 8. So now we add on our racial bonuses. Strength goes to 9 and con goes to 12. At level 4, we're going to get 1 stat bump, and when you get that, you can add 2 points to 1 ability score, or 1 point to 2. I think for sure we can bring our dex up to 16, and probably, because she is rather social, probably round up her charisma to 14. Now, if you're ever stuck, by the way, with just having something like a 1 floating, drop it in your strength score, because there are mechanical benefits for having a higher strength score, even if it doesn't result in an ability modifier. If that makes sense. Like your carrying capacity and your jumping distance are influenced by your strength score. All right, +2 charisma, wisdom, 1 int, 1 con, 3 dex, and -1 strength. She has earned a name. So if during her construction something has you know what? Oh, she really seems like this. Well, you can throw a name out for our female Duergar, Way of the Long Death monk courtier turned sailor. Saving throw is going to be 2 because we're proficient. So +3 -1 is 2. Dexterity is going to be 6 along with stealth, and then we're going to get 3 acrobatics, 3 sleight of hand. 1 on a con save. 1's down the line except for history, which will be a 4. Wisdom 2, everything except for insight, which will be a 5. And charisma is going to be the same, with the exception of persuasion, which will be a 5. Initiative is a dexterity check, so that's going to be a +3. And our armor class, well, we're not wearing armor, we're not proficient. 10 plus dex is 13 plus wisdom, so we have a 15 AC. Passive perception is 10 plus your perception modifier. So our passive perception is 12. That's just our natural awareness. For our spells, in other words, our key effects, our save DC is going to be, it's based off of wisdom, plus proficiency 5, plus the standard 8. Everything is just 8 with a save. So our key save DC is 13. And if you want, instead, you could always just put DC 13 to save. You could put it there instead. No spell slots to worry about. Current hit points, well, we are a D8 hit die class, so at first level you get that maximum. Then for the 6 other levels of her 7, half plus 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and there we go. Then for all her levels, all 7, you get bonus hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. Put it together, what do you have? Well, 7 from her con, 30 from her other levels of class, and then 8 from her first. So we have 38 plus 7 is 45 hit points. She doesn't have magic spells, and so Here is our character. She does need a name. Oh, if we're attacking with our martial arts or finesse weapons off of dexterity, that's going to be a +6, right? It's our dexterity modifier plus our proficiency. So there we go. Am I still broadcasting to you all? Am I still on, or am I talking to the camera? I'd hate that. I'd hate for me to have been no spells, no hair. What do you have? No spells, no hair. What do you have? Okay, I'm still coming through. I wanted to make sure. Good, good, good. Okay. Well then. Now, what I want to do, because there were four SCAG specific races, or like racial options. I'm gonna get up and take about a 5-minute break. We don't need to take a full 10, I don't think. I mean, if you do, then you do. I'm not gonna tell you what your body needs. When we come back, I want to do sort of I guess a bonus second character tonight. With our, let's see, next up after the dwarf is going to be the halflings, the ghost touch or the ghostwise halflings. That way I'm not falling behind in what I was hoping to present for the rest of the week. So we'll save. If you have a name for this character, then go ahead and throw one out, and we'll be back, and we will make a ghostwise halfling character to finish out the evening. And of course, if you have any questions or comments about rules or interactions, you can always ask those. Sorry, I was singing and typing those sweet 80s tunes. Lead themselves to parody. Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do? Adam Ant circa 82. I'm sorry, that went over my head. You know what? Speaking of 80s and rock, though, I was just watching. Let me get the link for it here. Oh, come on. There we go. I was watching the movie Rock and Rule from 1983. So if you want to talk about 80s and rock and sort of a dystopian future based around that, that would be a very interesting movie to watch. There are some adult themes. It's not like heavily adult, but there are some adult themes to it, just as a heads up. I mean, we're talking about, the rock and roll music, the devil's music. I thought that was jazz. Huh. All right. Let's take 5, everyone. Take 5. We'll come back, and let's make a ghostwise halfling.